hard for this role. Every single bit of it. And still, after a hard conversation, the first thing your mind does is run the tape back. Did I say that wrong? Was that too much? Did I just damage something I've been carefully building? That loop, most people call it overthinking. I want to offer you something different. That loop is not about the conversation. It's about what you believe is at stake every time you open your mouth. Today, we're getting into the protection pattern that quietly takes over hard conversations and what becomes possible the moment you name it. Before we go deeper, I want to let you know that if something lands for you today and you want to keep working through it, my virtual mind is available to you right now. It's built on my framework for connected leadership. It's there for you at 2 a.m. when the replay won't stop. The link is in the description. Now let's get into it. Think about that recent hard conversation, not a blow up, the kind where you were actually trying to lead. You gave feedback that someone needed. You addressed something that had been sitting too long, and you did it right. You were measured. Every word was deliberate, and you made sure that they knew you still cared about them. And when the moment was over, you were still in it. Checking their energy the next morning, reading into a short reply, wondering if something had shifted. Here's what I want you to sit with. You were not in that conversation to lead. You were in that conversation to be perceived correctly. And there's a difference. That difference is everything. Here is what this pattern actually looks like in real time. Before the conversation, if I soften this enough, it will land better. During the conversation, I need to make sure they know I still support them. After the conversation, let me overfunction for a few days just so they know I'm not harsh. I know. It feels like emotional intelligence. Most of the time, it is emotional protection because underneath every adjustment is a quiet negotiation between saying what needs to be said and protecting how you are perceived while you're saying it. And that negotiation doesn't make you a bad leader. It makes you a leader who has never been given permission to separate your worth from your reaction. Here's why this is so hard to catch. You are not imagining the stakes. You have gotten feedback that says, work on your executive presence. You have watched a direct approach get read as aggression. You have been warm and had it called soft. You have been clear and had it called difficult. So when hard conversations are coming, your internal system does exactly what a smart system would do. It does not act whether the conversation is safe. It has already decided it is not. It runs scenarios, it manages risks, and it tries to find the version of delivery that is strong enough to land and be careful enough to be safe. The exhaustion is not in the conversation. It is in the calculation you do before you even open your mouth. Sound familiar? Every high performer carries a quiet equation. It sounds kind of like this. My value equals what I deliver plus how I make people feel while I deliver it. That equation is not wrong, but when it becomes a source of your worth instead of an expression of it, every single conversation becomes a threat. Because now you are not just having a conversation, you are protecting evidence. Evidence that you are effective, evidence that you are respected, evidence that you are worthy of the trust that they placed in you. A different conversation risks all three. That is why the replay starts before the conversation even ends. Let me tell you what I did after a hard conversation with someone on my team. I had said what needed to be said. They needed to hear it. I knew it was true, and I delivered it with care. But for 3 days afterward, I was warmer than usual, more available than they actually needed, and making sure that they knew the relationship was still intact. Then they stopped by my office and said something I wasn't expecting. Thank you for being direct with me. Most people just work around me instead of with me. I sat with that for a long time because I have been so focused on protecting my image as a supportive leader that I almost missed the evidence of what I had actually given them. The conversation was not the risk. My belief about what would happen if they didn't receive it perfectly, that was the risk. I want to stop here for a second because if that story landed the way I think it did, it is because you have been in that exact space. You said the right thing and you still could not stop running it back. And that's not a communication problem. That is a protection pattern. And I know sometimes that you don't have the luxury of sitting with it until the next session or to the next video. Sometimes the conversation happened this morning and you need to work through it now. That is exactly what I built my virtual mind for. An AI coaching tool trained in my framework for connected leadership. You bring the actual situation that you're carrying and it walks you through receive, perceive, and respond. So you can process what happened and get grounded instead of staying in the loop. Your conversation, your protection pattern, your specific dynamics, it's there whenever you need it. Now let's keep this going. This is exactly where the second pillar of my framework for connected leadership does its work. Embodying grace. Not softness, not apologies, not over-explaining yourself after the fact. Grace. Grace says your worth is not located in their response. It is located in your presence and your intention. Grace says you can deliver the hard truth with genuine respect and not need the person on the other end to immediately confirm that you are still the good one. Leadership is not about getting the reaction right. It's about being settled enough to act when the reaction is uncertain. Protection asks, how do I say this without it costing me? What if they leave thinking I'm too much? How do I stay effective and safe at the same time? Presence asks, what does this moment actually need? What would a leader who already knows their worth do right now? What does truth with genuine respect look like here? Not managed truth, actual truth. Protection manages perception and presence serves the person in front of you. Those two things cannot always happen simultaneously. And until you know which one you're doing, the conversation is already running without you. Most high performers are operating from this equation. My worth equals their perception plus my performance. And that equation will exhaust you every single time because perception is not stable. It shifts by mood, by context, by history that you didn't create. The upgrade equation is simpler. My worth is already here. The conversation is not a test of it. When that lands, the question changes. You stop asking, how do I protect how I come across? And you start asking, what does a grounded leader do right now? That is my receive, perceive, and respond method working the way it's meant to. You receive the moment without a protection filter over it. You perceive it clearly without the weight of your image distorting it, and you respond from who you actually are, not who you're working to prove you are. That is not 3 things for this week. First, name the calculation. Before your next hard conversation, notice what you're protecting, not as judgment, as information. Second, ask the upgraded question. If my worth was already settled walking into this, what would I say and how would I say it? Third, stay in the conversation, not the replay, not in the recovery, in the actual moment of it, because that is where presence lives. 3 months after that conversation, my team member told me it had changed how they saw their role. Not because it was comfortable, but because it was real. The protection pattern doesn't disappear. There will always be a reaction to manage. The judgment will always exist. But when you lead from settled worth, when you receive the moment without flinching, perceive it without clearly protecting your image in the way, and respond from who you actually are, something shifts. You stop running back the tape, not because the stakes got smaller, but because you got steadier. So this week, the question isn't whether the conversation was perfect. It's whether you were actually there for it. Here's what I want you to sit with. Not fix, not solve, just sit with. The next time a conversation feels heavy before it even starts, ask yourself one question. What am I protecting right now? Not as judgment, as a reckoning. Because the loop doesn't break in the replay. It breaks the moment you finally name what is running it. Drop your answer in the comment. What are you protecting when conversations feel hard? Say it out loud. That is where the work actually starts. And if you're ready for more of this, please subscribe because we are just getting started. I look forward to supporting you, elevating and expanding how you know your worth, how you know your truth, and how you know when to pivot.